I'm Leah Timothy and today I'm going to tell a story. Today's story is called Healthy Choices. Are you ready to listen?
Yes!
The memory verse is from 1 Corinthians chapter 10 verse 31. It says, "So whether you eat or drink or whatever you do it all for the glory of God." The message is, I serve God when I chose to be healthy. Imagine you are very hungry and you were invited to a banquet. You sit down at the table and you find wine and unclean foods that you know you shouldn't have. What will you do? Daniel and his 3 friends faced that problem. Let's see what they did. King Nebuchadnezzar's army had invaded and conquered Judah. All the royal family and other important family had been taken to Babylon. Daniel, Hananiah, Azariah, and Mishael were among the young Hebrews. Nebuchadnezzar's empire was enormous. The king knew that the Hebrews captives had many abilities. So he decided to train some of them for work in his government. They could help rule some of part in his vast empire. But first, they had to learn Babylonian ways. They had to learn the language. They had to learn that things were done in Babylon. Daniel and his 3 friends knew that they were going to serve the king. But they decided that God would be first in their lives. They would serve him no matter what happened. There were so many and new interesting things to see in Babylon. Great samples for worshipping idols were everywhere. The young Hebrews saw parks shaded by strange trees and hanging flowering plants. The city of Babylon were truly beautiful. After their long journey, everyone looked forward to their first meal in Babylon. They were to eat the best food. It was the same food that was served at the king's table. Rich roast meat and sweet wine were on every table. The sweetest dessert in the whole land were there for all. All the Hebrews were delighted with the food. All except Daniel and his 3 friends. They knew that this food was not good for them. They also knew that some of the food of the wine had been offered to idols. Daniel and his 3 friends determined to serve God no matter what happened. So Daniel asked the officer in charge of all the Hebrews to help. He asked for simple food and water to drink. Although the king's officer respected Daniel, he refused. He was afraid for his life. King Nebuchadnezzar himself had ordered a meal. If Daniel and his 3 friends didn't eat that food, they might not be strong as the others. And if that happened, the king might have the officer killed. But Daniel did not give up. The officer appointed Melzar as steward to watch over Daniel and his 3 friends. Daniel appealed to the Melzar. "Test us," he said. Let us eat simple food and drink only water for 10 days. If we are not healthy as the others, do with us as you will." The steward agreed. At the end of the 10 days, the 4 Hebrews were stronger and more alert than the other captives. With God's help, they have passed the test. During all 3 years of training, they were served simple food and water. God was pleased with Daniel and his 3 friends. The Bible says, God helped with them with their studies. He gave them wisdom and understanding. And He gave Daniel the ability to understand dreams. Daniel served God first. He obeyed God's rules about eating and drinking, and God rewarded Daniel. Daniel's service to Nebuchadnezzar would lead that great ruler to the true God. Champaka children, when we put God first, He can use us to show others the great things He can do.
6 minutes.
Thank you for listening.